The night shift at Europa Research Station was usually quiet. Dr. Alan Carter liked it that way. The silence helped him think as he studied samples from the moon's icy surface. Tonight was different. A strange sound came from the communication system. At first, he thought it was just static, the kind that often filled the empty space between planets. But then he heard a voice. Please ... help ... my daughter ... Alan sat up straight. He adjusted the dials on the receiver, trying to make the signal clearer. This is Dr. Alan Carter at Europa Research Station. Who am I speaking with? More static filled the room. Then the voice returned. It sounded female, but not human. The words were strange, with sounds that seemed impossible for a human throat to make. My name ... Nixara. Ship damaged ... daughter dying. Please help ... Alan's heart beat faster. This wasn't a human voice. After 15 years working at the edge of human space, he was hearing what everyone hoped for, but few actually experienced. Contact with alien life. Computer, track signal source, he said. The screen in front of him lit up with a map of the solar system. A small red dot blinked near the orbit of Neptune. Computer, alert Director Wong. 5 minutes later, Lisa Wong rushed into the communication room, still pulling on her uniform jacket. This better be good, Carter. I was finally getting some sleep. Alan pointed to the speaker as the voice came through again. Running out of time ... weapons damage. Need human medicine. Lisa's eyes widened. Is that what I think it is? Alan nodded. I've run 3 checks. The signal is coming from beyond Pluto's orbit. It's not one of ours. Play the whole message again, Lisa ordered. Alan pressed a button, and the alien's voice filled the room. As they listened, Alan noticed more details. Behind the strange words was a tone he recognized. Fear, desperation, the sound of someone about to lose everything they loved. We are the Valori, escaping war ... daughter infected. Our medicine fails. Heard humans help others ... please. Lisa walked to the window, looking out at the icy surface of Europa. Beyond it, Jupiter filled the sky, massive and indifferent, to the drama unfolding in its shadow. Protocol says we report this to Earth Command and wait for instructions, she said quietly. Alan stood up. Her daughter is dying, Lisa. By the time Earth decides what to do, it will be too late. Lisa turned to face him. You don't even know if our medicine would work on their species. We know nothing about their biology. I'm a xenobiologist. This is why I'm here. Alan pointed to the red dot on the screen. That ship is 4 days away at top speed. We have the fastest ship in this sector. Lisa studied his face. This is about Sam, isn't it? Alan looked away. 5 years ago, his daughter Samantha had died while he was on a research mission. By the time he got the message and returned to Earth, it was too late to say goodbye. This is about doing what's right, he said. If it was a human ship with a dying child, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Lisa sighed. I'll need to report this regardless. Of course. But you could report it while we're already on our way. A small smile formed on Lisa's face. You always were a rule breaker, Carter. She pressed a button on the console. Dr. Rodriguez, report to communications immediately. And tell Nelson to prep the horizon for emergency departure. 3 hours later, Alan stood in the loading bay of the horizon with Kate Rodriguez, the station's chief medical officer. Kate was checking her equipment one last time. You realize we might not be able to help them, she said. Whatever is affecting. The child could be completely beyond our understanding. Alan nodded. But we have to try. Frank Nelson, their pilot, joined them, carrying his personal bag. Ship's ready. Life support at full capacity, and I've plotted the fastest course to intercept the alien vessel. Lisa's voice came over the intercom. "I've informed Earth Command of our mission. They're not happy, to put it mildly. They're warning this could be a trap." Alan looked up at the camera. "Did you tell them we're going anyway?" "I told them that by the time their response reaches us, we'll already be halfway there. Good luck, and be careful." The 3 crew members boarded the Horizon. As Frank started the launch sequence, Alan sat at the communication station, listening again to the alien message. This time, he noticed something the computers had missed. Under the words was a faint harmonic, a musical quality that seemed to carry emotion no translator could capture. The mother wasn't just asking for help. She was offering a piece of her soul in exchange. "Ready for departure," Frank called. The ship hummed as engines powered up. Through the viewport, Alan watched as the docking clamps released and the Horizon drifted away from the station. "Setting course for intercept with unknown vessel," Frank said. "ETA 96 hours." As the engines fired and pushed them away from Europa, Alan thought about what waited for them. No human had ever made contact with an intelligent alien species before. There were stories and rumors from the outer colonies, but nothing confirmed. Kate put her hand on his shoulder. "What if we can't communicate with them when we arrive?" Alan turned to her. "The fact that she reached out to us in our language means they've been studying us. I think they know more about us than we know about them." The Horizon accelerated, leaving the massive form of Jupiter behind. Ahead lay only the darkness of deep space, and somewhere in that vastness, a mother holding her dying child, looking to the stars for salvation. Alan pulled up the star charts, studying the region where the alien ship drifted. It was empty space, far from shipping lanes and patrol routes. How long had they been out there, sending their message into the void, hoping someone would hear? "I promise we'll try," he whispered to the stars. "Hold on just a little longer." As the Horizon pushed deeper into space, Alan felt a strange mix of fear and hope. In all his years of studying possible alien life, he never imagined first contact would come like this. Not with grand ambassadors or military standoffs, but with a simple plea from a mother that transcended species and space itself. 4 days to reach them. 4 days to prepare for an encounter that would change humanity forever. 4 days to figure out how to save a child they had never seen. Alan only hoped it would be enough time. The 4 days in space passed slowly. Alan barely slept. He spent most of his time studying the alien messages and preparing for every possible scenario. Kate worked in the medical lab, reviewing everything humans knew about non-Earth biology, which wasn't much. Frank kept the ship running smoothly, pushing the engines to their limits. "We're approaching the coordinates," Frank announced on the 4th day. "Slowing down now. Should have visual contact soon." Alan and Kate joined Frank in the cockpit. They peered through the large front window, searching for any sign of the alien ship. "There," Kate pointed to a faint blue light in the distance. As they got closer, the alien vessel came into view. It wasn't like any ship humans had built. It was smooth and curved, like a giant leaf or water droplet. The surface glowed with soft blue light that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. But parts of the ship looked damaged, with dark patches where the glow had faded. "It's beautiful," Kate whispered. "And dying," Alan added. "Those dark areas shouldn't be there." The ship seems partly alive. Frank checked the instruments. No signs of weapons. No energy signatures that suggest a trap. But the air inside has more oxygen than we use. We'll need suits. Alan activated the communication system. "This is Dr. Alan Carter from Europa Research Station. We received your distress call and are here to help." For a long moment, there was silence. Then a voice responded, the same one from the message. "Human vessel. Thank you. King possible at lower section." Frank carefully moved their ship toward the area the alien had indicated. A section of the blue surface opened like a flower, revealing a space large enough for their shuttle to enter. "Here goes nothing," Frank said as he guided the ship inside. Docking area closed behind them. Lights came on, showing a room large enough to hold several small ships. Strange plants grew along the walls, glowing with the same blue light as the ship's exterior. Alan, Kate, and Frank put on their containment suits. These would protect them from any alien germs and let them breathe in the different air. They carried medical equipment, communication devices, and emergency weapons, though Alan hoped they wouldn't need those. A door at the far end of the room opened. Alan led the way, stepping carefully. The floor felt slightly soft, like walking on firm moss. "Stay alert," he said. "Remember we're guests here. No sudden movements." They walked down a long corridor. The walls were covered with more of the glowing plants, providing soft light. In some places, the plants looked wilted and dark. The corridor opened into a larger room. In the center stood a tall figure with 4 arms. Its skin shimmered with colors that shifted like an oil slick in sunlight. It was at least 7 feet tall, with a slender body and large, dark eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Behind the alien was a smaller figure lying on what looked like a bed made from the same material as the ship, this smaller. Alien barely glowed at all, its skin pale and dull. "Nixara?" Alan asked, stepping forward slowly. The tall alien raised one hand in what seemed like greeting. "Yes, I am Nixara. This is my daughter, Lyra." Her voice sounded musical, with tones that rose and fell like a song. The translation device they brought converted her speech into English words. "I'm Dr. Alan Carter. This is Dr. Kate Rodriguez, our medical officer, and Frank Nelson, our pilot. We're here to help if we can." Nixara moved to her daughter's side. Up close, Alan could see that Lyra was much smaller, perhaps the size of a human child of 8 or 9 years. Her breathing looked shallow and uneven. "What happened to her?" Kate asked, already scanning Lyra with her medical devices. "Our world was attacked," Nixara said. "A species called the Core. They used weapons we had never seen before." "Weapons that break down life itself. We escaped, but Lyra was exposed during the attack. The sickness spread slowly at first. I thought she would recover." Kate studied her scanner. "Her cells are breaking down at the molecular level. It's similar to radiation poisoning, but different. Our crew began to show the same symptoms," Nixara continued. "One by one they died. I tried everything I knew to save them, to save Lyra. Nothing worked." "How many crew were there?" Frank asked, looking around the empty room. 12 adults besides myself. They are preserved in the memorial chamber." Frank and Alan exchanged concerned looks. Kate continued examining Lyra. "I've been keeping her alive," Nixara explained. "My species can share life energy with others, but it weakens the giver. I cannot do it much longer." Alan noticed now how dim Nixara's own skin looked in places, as though she was giving her own light to her daughter. "We've studied humans from afar," Nixara said. "Your kind helps others, even strangers. You adapt quickly. You survive conditions that would kill other species. I prayed to the stars that you might help where our medicine failed." Kate looked up from her scanner. "Her cellular structure is unlike anything I've seen, but there are basic similarities to all life. The damage is severe, but if we can stop whatever is causing it, there might be a chance." "Can we move her to our ship?" Alan asked. "We have better medical equipment there." Nixara hesitated, then nodded. "She has not left her bed in many cycles. Moving her will be difficult, but I trust you." As they prepared to move Lyra, Nixara did something unexpected. She stepped close to Alan and pressed her forehead against his helmet. Through the clear material, Alan could see her eyes close as if in prayer. "The fate of my child is now in your hands," she said in her own language. Words the translator didn't catch, but which Alan somehow understood that in that moment of contact. Alan felt a strange connection, as if something passed between them, not physical, but an understanding that went beyond words. "We'll do everything we can," he promised. Together, they carefully moved Lyra onto a stretcher. Her body felt light, almost weightless. As they carried her through the corridors back to their ship, Alan noticed how the plants seemed to reach toward her, as if trying to help. Frank went ahead to prepare the Horizon's medical bay. Kate walked beside Lyra, constantly checking her condition. Alan helped Nixara, who seemed to grow weaker with each step. "Your ship," Alan said. "Will it be safe while we're gone?" "The ship lives as we do," Nixara replied. "It will wait. Nothing matters now except Lyra." As they entered the Horizon with their precious cargo, Alan knew they had passed a point of no return. Human and alien together on a human ship, something that had never happened before in recorded history. Whatever happened next would change everything. In the medical bay of the Horizon, Kate worked quickly to set up equipment. The room was designed for humans, not aliens, but she adapted as best she could. Alan helped Nixara sit near her daughter, while Frank returned to the cockpit to contact. "Europa Station. Director Wong, this is Nelson. Mission update," Frank said into the communication system. Lisa's voice came through with static. "Report, Nelson. Did you find the alien vessel?" "Yes, ma'am. We've made contact with the aliens. They call themselves the Valori. We've brought the mother and child onto our ship. The child is in critical condition." There was a long pause before. Lisa responded. "Earth Command has sent new orders. They want you to return immediately with the aliens for quarantine and study." Frank frowned. "The child might not survive that long. Dr. Rodriguez is treating her now." "I understand, but these orders come from the highest level. They're concerned about unknown pathogens and security risks. With respect, Director, we can't abandon our mission now. These people need our help." In the medical bay, Kate took samples from both Lyra and Nixara. She placed them under a microscope and connected it to the ship's computer for analysis. "Their cellular structure is fascinating," Kate said. "It's like nothing I've ever seen, but there are basic similarities to Earth. Life. Their cells can absorb and emit light. That's why their skin glows." Alan watched as the computer ran comparisons. "Can you tell what's causing the illness?" Kate pointed to the screen. "See these dark spots in Lyra's cells? Something is breaking down the basic structure. It's like the cells are being pulled apart. At the atomic level." Nixara watched them work, her large eyes following every movement. "On our world, we heal through connection. One life supporting another. But this sickness resists our methods." "Connection?" Alan asked. "Yes, we can join our life energy with others of our kind. It is how we heal, how we share knowledge." Nixara placed one of her 4 hands on Lyra's arm. Where they touched, both their skins glowed a little brighter. "That's what you've been doing," Kate realized. "Giving her your energy to keep her alive." Nixara nodded. "Yes, but I grow weaker. Soon I will not have enough strength for both of us." Frank entered the medical bay. "We have a problem. Earth Command wants us to return immediately." "They're treating this as a potential threat." Alan shook his head. "We can't leave now. We're just starting to understand what's happening." "I told Director Wong the same thing, but orders are orders." Kate looked up from her work. "Tell them we need more time. If we can save Lyra, we might learn something that could help humans too." Frank nodded and left to send another message. Alan turned back to the medical screens. Something about the damage to Lyra's cells seemed familiar. "Kate, can you compare this to radiation damage in human cells?" Kate typed commands into the computer. New images appeared on the screen. Similar, but more targeted. Whatever weapon the core used, it attacks specific cellular bonds. Alan studied the images. If it's breaking down bonds, maybe we need something that can create new ones. Kate's eyes widened. Like stem cells? They can adapt and form new structures. Would human stem cells work with alien biology? Alan wondered. Kong-on, Kate admitted. But in theory, stem cells are adaptable. They respond to their environment. Nixara watched them with hope growing in her eyes. You have such cells? Yes, Kate said. We use them to treat serious injuries and illnesses. They can become any type of cell needed for healing. But we don't know if they'll work across species, Alan cautioned. It could be dangerous to try, Frank returned. Earth Command isn't. Happy, but Director Wong is buying us time. She says we have 48 hours before we need to head back. Kate looked at her screens again. Lyra doesn't have 48 hours. Her systems are failing faster now. Alan made a decision. Prepare for a stem cell treatment. I'll be the donor. Kate turned to him in surprise. Alan, we have no idea how your cells will interact with her biology. It could harm you both. Do we have another choice? Alan asked. Kate reluctantly shook her head. No, but I want to run some compatibility tests first. She took a small blood sample from Alan and mixed it with cells from Lyra. Under the microscope, they watched as the human. Cells moved toward the alien cells. That's unusual, Kate said. They seem attracted to each other. Instead of attacking or ignoring the alien cells, Alan's cells appeared to surround Lyra's damaged cells. Where they touched, the glow in Lyra's cells strengthened slightly. There. Not rejecting each other, Kate said in amazement. The human cells are actually supporting the alien cells. Nixara leaned forward to look at the screen. Our bodies recognize compatible life. Yours must be similar enough to ours. We need to try, Alan insisted. A full stem cell transfer. Kate nodded and began preparing the equipment. This will take several hours. I'll need to extract stem cells from your bone marrow, process them, and then introduce them to Lyra's system. While Kate worked, Frank analyzed data from the alien ship. He returned with a troubled expression. I found something you should see, he said, showing Alan. A data pad. I scanned the damage patterns on their ship. The weapon signature is like nothing I've ever seen. It's quantum-based technology, far beyond what humans have developed. Alan studied the information. The damage to the ship matches the damage to Lyra's cells. Whatever hit them affects both organic and inorganic materials. If the core have weapons this advanced, they could be a serious threat, Frank said quietly. All the more reason to help the Valori, Alan replied. They might know how to defend against these weapons. Hours later, Kate was ready to begin the procedure. Alan lay on a bed next to Lyra's. Tubes connected special equipment that would extract his stem cells, process them, and deliver them to Lyra. This will be uncomfortable, Kate warned him. And we still don't know what effect this will have on either of you. Alan nodded. I understand the risks. Nixara stood between the two beds. She placed one hand on Lyra and reached the other toward Alan. May I? She asked. Alan nodded, and Nixara placed her hand on his arm. Immediately, he felt a warm sensation spread through his body. Our gratitude will echo across stars, Nixara said. Whatever happens, know that you have shown the best of humanity today. Kate started the procedure. Alan felt a sharp pain as the machine began extracting his bone marrow. He closed his eyes and thought of his daughter Sam, wondering if someone had tried this hard to save her. As the first human stem cells entered Lyra's body, her skin began to glow brighter. Something unexpected was happening, something neither human nor Valori had predicted. A connection between species had begun. The stem cell transfer continued for 3 hours. Kate watched the monitors carefully, tracking both Alan's and Lyra's vital signs. Frank stayed in the cockpit, keeping the ship at a safe distance from the Valori vessel while watching for any sign of Earth Command ship's dot. As human stem cells flowed into Lyra's body, something remarkable happened. Her skin began to glow brighter. The light pulsed in rhythm with Alan's heartbeat. The damaged areas of her cells started to repair themselves. "It's working," Kate said in amazement. The human stem cells are adapting to her biology and helping her cells rebuild. Nixara watched with hope growing in her eyes. The light returns to her. I can feel her strength growing. But as Lyra improved, Alan began to experience strange sensations. Images flashed through his mind. A beautiful world with crystal towers that caught the light of 2 suns. Vast oceans filled with glowing creatures. A terrible darkness as ships appeared in the sky, firing weapons that made the very air shimmer with destruction. "Alan?" Kate noticed his rapid eye movements. "Are you okay? I see." "Their world," Alan whispered. "I see what happened to them." Nixara moved closer to him. "The transfer creates a connection. It is more than physical. You see my memories. Is this normal for your people?" Kate asked, concerned. "When we share life energy, we sometimes share memories, emotions, knowledge. But this is different. No Valerie has ever connected with a human before." Alan saw more images. Nixara with another Valori, taller and with deeper blue skin. They stood together watching a small Lyra playing in a garden. Then chaos as they ran to a ship, the other Valerie turning back to face something terrible, telling them to go. "Your mate," Alan said. "He stayed behind to give you time to escape." Tears like tiny diamonds fell from Nixara's eyes. "Yes, Corvus gave his life so we could flee. He was a scientist, like you. He believed there were other peaceful species among the stars. He hoped we would find them." Kate checked Alan's vital signs. "Your brain activity is off the charts. I've never seen patterns like this before." "I feel fine," Alan insisted. "Better than fine. It's like I can feel what she feels. I understand things I shouldn't be able to understand." The ship's communication system activated. Frank's voice came through. "We have incoming transmission from Europa Station. It's Director Wong, and she sounds worried." Kate pressed a button on the wall. "Put it through." Lisa's voice filled the medical bay. "Horizon, this is Director Wong. Earth Command has dispatched 2 military vessels to your location. They're under orders to escort you back to Earth immediately. They'll reach you in approximately 6 hours. "We need more time," Kate replied. "The procedure is working, but we're not finished." "I've tried to reason with them," Lisa said. "But they're treating this as a first contact situation with potential security implications. They want the aliens under observation in a controlled environment." Alan struggled to sit up. "Tell them we've already made contact. Tell them the Valori are peaceful and need our help." "I have," Lisa assured him. "But they're concerned about the reports of these core aliens and their advanced weapons. They think the Valori might have brought war to our doorstep." Nixara spoke up. "Your leaders are right to be cautious. The core will come. They hunt all Valori survivors. But we did not lead them here deliberately. We sought only safe haven." "How much longer until the procedure is complete?" Frank asked from the cockpit. Kate checked the equipment. "Another 2 hours at least. Then both Alan and Lyra will need time to recover." "I can buy you some time," Frank offered. "I'll move us deeper into the asteroid field near Neptune. It might scramble their sensors long enough to finish the procedure." "Do it," Alan said. "We can't stop now." As Frank changed their course, the ship rumbled slightly. The movement caused some of the medical equipment to shift. Kate quickly stabilized it. "Easy, Frank," she called out. "We need steady conditions." "Here. Sorry," Frank replied. "Doing my best with what we've got." The procedure continued. More of Alan's stem cells entered Lyra's system. The glow under her skin grew stronger, spreading from her chest to her limbs. Her breathing became more. Regular Alan felt another wave of images flood his mind. This time, he saw the Valori history, how they had evolved from sea creatures into land dwellers, how they had built a peaceful civilization based on biological technology rather than mechanical. He saw how they had once helped another species survive extinction through a similar biological exchange, creating a permanent bond between them. "Your people," Alan said to Nyxara. "You've done this before." "With another species," Nyxara nodded. "The Felari. Their world was dying. We shared our life energy with them, helped them adapt. They became our closest allies. But that was generations ago. And the bond was permanent," Alan realized. "Like what's happening between Lyra and me." "Yes," Nyxara admitted. "I did not know if it would happen with humans. Our biologies are different, but the connection is forming stronger than I expected." Kate looked concerned. "What does that mean for Alan?" "He will carry part of us with him always. And Lyra will carry part of him. The exchange goes both ways." The ship rocked again as Frank navigated through the asteroid field. On the medical monitors, Lyra's vital signs continued to improve. The damaged areas in her cells were almost completely repaired. "It's incredible," Kate said, studying the data. "Her cells are not just accepting the human stem cells. They're using them as templates to rebuild themselves better than before. They're becoming resistant to whatever damaged them." Alan felt a surge of energy through his body, followed by a wave of exhaustion. The connection to Lyra's mind became clearer. He could sense her consciousness stirring, awakening from a long darkness. "She's waking up," he whispered. Nyxara moved to her daughter's side, taking one of her small hands. "Lyra? Can you hear me?" Lyra's eyes fluttered open. They were dark, like her mother's, but now had small flecks of green, the color of Alan's eyes. She looked around in confusion, then focused on her mother. "Mother?" She spoke in the musical language of the Valori. Nyxara made a sound of pure joy, a melody that needed no translation. She embraced her daughter carefully. Lyra looked past her mother to Alan, though they had never met while she was conscious. Something in her expression showed recognition. "You helped me," she said in perfect English, words she should not have known. "I felt you in the darkness. You brought me back." Alan smiled weakly. "We helped each other." Kate began disconnecting the equipment. "The procedure is complete. Both of you need to rest now." In the cockpit, Frank watched the sensors. "Earth Command vessels are still searching for us. We've bought some time, but not much." Alan looked at Lyra and Nyxara, then at Kate. "When they find us, everything changes, for all of us." What none of them realized yet was just how profound those changes would be, not just for them, but for the future of both species. 3 months passed since the Horizon brought Nyxara and Lyra to Europa Station. What began as a rescue mission had turned into a diplomatic milestone. The medical bay where Alan first recovered from the procedure was now a meeting room filled with screens showing faces from Earth and other human colonies. Alan stood near the window, looking out at Jupiter's massive form. He felt the familiar warmth in his mind that had become a constant companion since the stem cell transfer. The connection to Lyra remained, a gentle awareness of her presence somewhere on the station. "Dr. Carter, they're ready for you," Lisa Wong said, now wearing the uniform of a senior director. Her quick decision to support the rescue mission had earned her a promotion instead of the punishment many expected. Alan nodded and followed her to the center of the room where cameras would capture his testimony for Earth's leaders. As the primary, human contact with the Valori. Can you assure us they pose no threat to Earth? Asked a stern-faced woman identified as the Defense Secretary. The Valori are peaceful by nature, Alan replied. Their technology is based on nurturing life, not destroying it. They came to us for help, not conquest. Yet they bring with them the threat of these core aliens, said another official. The core are a genuine concern, Alan admitted. But knowledge the Valori bring could help us prepare defenses we wouldn't have otherwise. In another room of the station, Kate Rodriguez worked with Valori and human scientists. After successfully treating Lyra, Kate had pioneered a new field of medicine, studying the compatibility between human and alien biology. On her screen was a map of DNA from both species, showing unexpected similarities despite evolving on different worlds. The cellular adaptation we're seeing is remarkable, Kate explained to her team. The human stem cells didn't just repair Lyra's damage, they created a hybrid resilience. Her cells now resist the quantum disruption from core weapons. In the station's living quarters, Lyra sat with human children. At first, the other children had been afraid of her alien appearance. Now they gathered around as she showed them how to make small balls of light dance between her fingers. A Valerie game taught to children. One boy tried to copy her, his face serious with concentration. I can't make my hands glow, he complained. Lyra smiled. Your light is different from mine, Joe. Humans shine in their own way. Since the procedure, Lyra had grown stronger than anyone expected. The green flecks in her eyes, the visible sign of Alan's genetic contribution, had spread, creating a striking pattern. She could now speak perfect English and had begun learning 3 other human languages with remarkable speed. Even more surprising was her ability to interface with both Valori biological technology and human computers. When she touched electronic devices, they responded to her in ways their designers never intended. Scientists were still trying to understand how this was possible. Frank Nelson, now a celebrated pilot for making first contact, entered the observation deck where Nix Ara stood watching the stars. Since arriving at the station, she had spent many hours here, looking out at the vastness of space. Any word from the search teams? She asked, without turning. Frank shook his head. Not yet, but we've expanded the search pattern. If there are more Valori ships out there, we'll find them. Based on coordinates Nixara had shared, human ships were searching for other Valori who might have escaped the destruction of their homeworld. The effort had begun as a humanitarian mission, but had quickly gained strategic importance as Earth leaders realized the value of Valori knowledge. I feel them out there, Nixara said softly. Not many, but some survived. They hide, as we did, afraid to trust. In the main conference room, Alan finished his testimony. As the screens went dark, he felt a familiar presence. Lyra entered the room and went straight to him. They're still afraid, she said. It wasn't a question. Alan nodded. Fear is natural when facing the unknown. It will take time. Lisa joined them. Earth Command has approved the next phase. They want to establish a permanent Valori settlement on Europa. Not just a research facility? Alan asked. A true colony. They see the value in having the Valori as allies, especially with the core. Threat. Lyra touched Alan's hand. Through their connection, he felt her mix of hope and concern. The core will come, she said. They always do. Later that day, the station's alarm sounded. Alan rushed to the control center, where Lisa and Frank were studying sensor readings. What is it? Alan asked. A ship appeared at the edge of the system, Frank explained. Unlike anything we've seen before. Not Valori design. A chill ran through Alan. The core? We don't know yet, Lisa said. But it vanished before we could make contact. Almost like it was scouting. Nixara and Lyra joined them, their faces solemn. They have found us, Nixara said, sooner than I hoped. If it is the core, what can we expect? Lisa asked. They will not attack immediately, Nixara explained. First they study, learn weaknesses. Then they strike without warning. How do we defend against their weapons? Frank asked. Lyra stepped forward. I may help with that. Everyone turned to her in surprise. The connection between Alan and me created something new, Lyra explained. I understand both Valori and human technology now. I see how they can work together. She placed her hand on a nearby computer terminal. The screen filled with complex diagrams, half biological, half mechanical. Valori shields are biological. They absorb energy. Human shields reflect energy. Together, they could resist the core weapons. Kate, who had just entered the room, studied the diagrams. This could work. The hybrid cellular structure we've been studying shows similar properties. We'll need to work fast, Lisa said. How long until they return? Days, perhaps weeks, Nixara answered. They are thorough in their planning. Alan looked at the humans and Valori working together in the control room. 3 months ago, they had been strangers, separated by the vast emptiness of space. Now their futures were linked by a shared threat and an unexpected bond. We saved one child, Alan said, looking at Lyra. Now she might help save us all. Lisa nodded. I'll contact Earth Command immediately. We need to begin preparations. As the others discussed defense plans, Alan moved to the window. Jupiter hung in the darkness, massive and ancient. Beyond it lay the stars, and somewhere among them, a threat approaching. But for the first time, humanity would not face it alone. Lyra joined him at the window, her skin glowing softly in the dim light. Through their connection, Alan felt her determination and courage. Are you afraid? She asked. Alan thought about it. Yes, he admitted, but not like before. Fear can be faced when you're not alone. My father believed there were good people among the stars, Lyra said. He was right. Together they watched the stars, human and alien, united by a plea for help that had crossed the void between worlds and changed everything. Whatever came next, they would face it together.